Money jokes. The mafia was looking for a new man to make weekly collections from all the private businesses that they were protecting. Feeling the heat from the police force, they decide to use a deaf and dumb person for this job. If he were to get caught, he wouldn't be able to communicate to the police what he was doing. On his first week, the collector picks up over $40,000. He gets greedy, decides to keep the money and stashes it in a safe place. The mafia soon realizes that their collection is late, and sends some of their hoods after the deaf and dumb collector. The hoods find the collector and ask him where the money is. The deaf and dumb collector can't communicate with them, so the mafia drags the guy to an interpreter. The mafia hood says to the interpreter, "Ask him where the money is." The interpreter signs, "Where's the money?" The dumb man signs back, "I don't know what you're talking about." The interpreter tells the hood, he says he doesn't know what you're talking about. The hood pulls out a .38 and places it in the ear of the dumb collector. "Now ask him where the money is." The interpreter signs, "Where is the money?" The deaf man signs back, "The $40,000 is in a tree stump in Central Park." The interpreter says to the hood, he says he still doesn't know what you're talking about, and doesn't think you have the balls to pull the trigger. Black humor jokes. Late in the night he regained consciousness. He found himself in agonizing pain in the hospital's ICU, with tubes up his nose, wires monitoring every function, and a gorgeous nurse hovering over him. He realized he'd obviously been in a serious accident. She gave him a deep look straight into the eyes, and he heard her slowly say, "You may not feel anything from the waist down." Somehow he managed to mumble and reply, "Can I feel your tits, then?" That, my friends, is a positive attitude. Black humor jokes. The crusty old managing partner finally passed away, but his firm kept receiving calls asking to speak with him. "I'm sorry, he's dead," was the standard answer. Finally, the receptionist who fielded the calls began to realize it was always the same voice, so she asked who it was and why he kept calling. The reply, "I used to be one of his junior associates, and I just like to hear you say it." Lawyer jokes. A truck driver would amuse himself by running over lawyers. Whenever he saw a lawyer walking down the side of the road, he would swerve to hit him, enjoy the loud, satisfying thump, and then swerve back onto the road. At this point, some of you are probably wondering how the trucker could distinguish the lawyers from the humans. Obviously he saw the trail of slime they left. One day, as the truck driver was driving along, he saw a priest hitchhiking. He thought he would do a good turn and pulled the truck over. He asked the priest, "Where are you going, Father?" "I'm going to the church 5 miles down the road," replied the priest. "No problem, Father. I'll give you a lift. Climb in the truck." The happy priest climbed into the passenger seat and the truck driver continued down the road. Suddenly the truck driver saw a lawyer walking down the road and instinctively he swerved to hit him. But then he remembered there was a priest in the truck with him, so at the last minute he swerved back away, narrowly missing the lawyer. However, even though he was certain he missed the lawyer, he still heard a loud thud. Not understanding where the noise came from, he glanced in his mirrors, and when he didn't see anything, he turned to the priest and said, "I'm sorry, Father. I almost hit that lawyer." "That's okay," replied the priest. "I got him with the door." Chuck Norris jokes. There are no such things as Chuck Norris haters, just people with short lives. Chuck Norris jokes. When Google has a question, Chuck Norris always knows it. Jokes about men. Reaching the end of a job interview, the human resources officer asked a young engineer fresh out of MIT, "And what starting salary were you looking for?" The engineer replies, "In the region of $125,000 a year, depending on the benefits package." The interviewer inquires, "Well, what would you say to a package of 5 weeks vacation, 14 paid holidays, full medical and dental, company matching, retirement fund to 50% of salary, and a company car leased every 2 years, say, a red Corvette?" The engineer sits up straight and says, "Wow! Are you kidding?" And the interviewer replies, "Yeah, but you started it." Yo mama jokes. Yo mama's so old her birth certificate says expired. Marriage jokes. There were 3 women who always hung their laundry out in the backyard. 2 of the women noticed Sophie never had her laundry out on days that it rained. One day, they were all out in the backyard putting their clothes on the line when one of the women said to Sophie, "How come when it rains, your laundry is never out?" "Well," said Sophie, "when I wake up in the morning, I look over at Paul. If his penis is hanging over his right leg, I know I can hang out the wash. If his penis is hanging over his left leg, I know it's going to rain, so I don't hang out the wash." "What if it is pointed straight up?" asked one of the women. "On a day like that, I don't bother with the laundry." Chuck Norris jokes. Chuck Norris can't be in a 3D movie because the entire room would feel his roundhouse kicks.